Hi guys, welcome back to Etherpreneur.io. In the video today I want to talk a bit about how I go about explaining Ethereum to a new person. So someone that's not necessarily technical, but someone who you want to explain Ethereum to. So there's quite a few different guides and resources out there that explain Ethereum and do a good job, but I find that you need quite a few of these different resources for somebody to really understand it. Normally if you just send someone a single link, that isn't really sufficient. So what I decided to do, instead of just writing my own guide, I put together a 7-step plan that basically links to lots of different resources and that has a structure for you to follow through if you want to explain Ethereum to someone. So in this post I'm just going to go through those 7 steps. So the first step that I have, which should be linked below and in the blog post below, is an infographic called Explaining Ethereum to My Mum. This one is just quite simple. It's at quite a high level. There's been some comments that it's not completely accurate, but I think for a first look at Ethereum, it does a good job at a very high level without going into too much technical detail. So when I'm explaining it to Ethereum to someone, this is the graphic that I normally start with. Once I've gone through that, I'll talk to them a bit about blockchain and smart contracts. So talk a bit about Bitcoin and Ethereum and what makes Ethereum different, the smart contracts, the contracts that can execute a bit of code on the network, for example, to pay someone when certain conditions are met. So I find that going into this explanation next can kind of reinforce what people have learned about from the first step with the infographic. In step 3, I tend to show them the official Ethereum infographic. So again, there's another link to that in the comments and in my blog post below. I find that this is a good one to follow up with next. It's a little bit out of date now. It could do with being updated, but again, it builds on the knowledge that your subject, as I like to call them, should already have so far. Once I've gone through that, I tend to follow up with a few explanation videos. So again, I'm linking to those below. So there's Ethereum for Dummies by Gavin Wood. This was a great talk that Gavin did. So I think the Ethereum conference. This is one of the first videos that I watched on Ethereum, and it got me really excited about it straight away. It's great how he explains it without going into any real technical depth at all. Really great video. The next video is a TED Talk by Alex Tapscott. Again, I found this is a really good high-level overview of how blockchain is eating Wall Street, and again some of the possibilities for blockchain. Finally, no introduction to Ethereum can be complete without talking about the founder, Vitalik Buterin. So this is just a short 3-minute video of Vitalik explaining Ethereum. It will probably go over your subject's head quite a lot, but it's so exciting to see him for the first time when he's 23 years old and people think he's an alien. Perhaps he is, but I find that that's a really cool thing to show people. At this point, I go on to step 5, which is talking about the cryptocurrency prices. So I find it's good to show people what the price of Ethereum particularly has risen this year, how volatile it is, but how much growth there's been, and compare that as well with Bitcoin. If people aren't excited about the technology, they'll certainly be excited about seeing how much the price has changed. So it's cool to show people that as well. Next, to follow up, I like to follow up on step 6 with a Google Trends graph, just to show how much interest there's been in Ethereum and Bitcoin this year, just to show that it's not some wacky project that only you are interested in. If you want to prove to people that Ethereum is actually a real interesting thing that's interesting to other people, the Google Trends graph is good. So by now, that's quite a lot of information that you've given your subjects. You probably want to let them go away, do some more reading of their own. I've got a few more guides that I tend to send people now as a follow-up. 3 different guides: Beginner's Guide to Ethereum, more explanation of what a smart contract is, and a bit about Ethereum tokens, which is obviously another whole nother universe altogether. So I tend to send this to people afterwards if they want more more details, and if they're interested. So that's my 7-step guide to explaining Ethereum to just about anyone. Please like, comment below, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Cheers, bye.